Hello everyone. We are really coming very close to the Yom Tov, to the holiday of Pesach. And we can't come into Pesach. I feel right to share something, even though I'm sure everybody learns about Pesach. There's so many beautiful ideas. So much in details and more details, but I'll say something too. If it helps, it'll be my pleasure to be part of your Seder. And if you learned about this, and you learned many more things, my pleasure too. The main thing is we should have a beautiful Seder night coming up. And as we say, the Seder should be Mitzvah Hashem with the real Paschal Lamb, with the real Korban Pesach this year. So just one short idea. And this is again about the Seder night. And as we know, a tradition the Seder night is that before we do the Agada, before we start Magid, and as we know, Magid begins with Hey Lach Ma'anya. But before we start with that, we do Yachatz. And what's the idea of Yachatz? Yachatz is that we take the middle matzah, we break it to two halves. A smaller half we put back inside, and the bigger half we put away for the afikoman that we eat by the end of the Seder, that this represents the Paschal Lamb, the Korban Pesach. And it's a very interesting question, what's so special that we do this idea, and when do we do this? Right in the beginning, before we starting the whole story of Pesach, with the questions and the answers, as the whole Agada goes. Before that, we do this mitzvah of Yachatz. And as we said, what Yachatz is all about. What is the meaning of it? And if it has a meaning, and I'm sure it has a very strong meaning, why right in the beginning of the Seder we do all that? And the idea, in short, that we see in that Yachatz, in that matzah, that we break in two halves. And the smaller half stays in the Seder plate, and the bigger half goes for the afikoman. These two halves really represents complete two opposites. The small half is a part of the Seder plate that we pick it up, or in Chabad tradition is we reveal it, as all traditions are, but what do? We take this matzahs and we say, Hey Lach Ma'anya, this is the bread of affliction. We're speaking about the matzah as being bread of Egypt. We're speaking the idea of the matzah in not such a happy thing. We're speaking about our torture in Egypt. That's what this half of matzah represents. And then we have the other half of the matzah that we put away for the fikoma, and this represents the greatest moment. The Pesach. The Pesach is Passover, that Hashem made a great miracle for us. We passed over and we are where we are. Especially it's written in the holy books that this represents the Paschal Lamb of the time of Mashiach. It represents the real redemption, the real Pesach. Completely two opposites. That's why perhaps this is the little part, and that's the big part. But it represents two negative ideas. One represents the exile, the Egypt, being poor, etc. One represents the greatest moments. And both ideas come from the same matzah. What is it? What is the meaning of it? Yes, definitely has a lot of meanings, but it's one very beautiful idea. That this Yachatz, this matzah represents the whole Seder night. That all Seder night is the idea that in one moment we were completely, unfortunately, immersed in negative. As we know, in the time of Egypt, we were in 49 gates of Tumah. And just a minute later, we were completely out. Physically, spiritually, mentally, we were on a high, going to receive the Torah of Hashem, going to receive the Ten Commandments, going to become a part of Hashem, the nation of Hashem. Completely two opposites. And that's the all Seder night. To remind us, and this is why we got to do it again and again, that In this matzah, there is both. In this matzah, there is this time and that time, this side of the coin and that side of the coin. But the hope, or the reason what we're celebrating is, it can be in 1 minute this way, but in 1 minute it can turn around, and it does turn around to the greatest glory, to the greatest moments of redemption. And this has got to be a great lesson to us, and that's what we have to remember when we do the Seder. Sometimes we feel, what are we doing a Seder? We are in a moment of stress, in a moment of exile. But this is what all Seder's got to tell us. And this is what we got to teach ourselves. Yes, it's a moment of stress. It's a moment of exile. But again, we're celebrating from the moment of exile, from this Efa Matzah, we get into this Efa Matzah, that we're coming to a moment of redemption. And we are celebrating that because we know that this same happened by Yetziat Mitzrayim. From 1 second we turned to another different life. This same happens with us now, and this is going to happen to us in Mitzvah Shem this year. The Rebbe spoke about it once, and the Rebbe brought out that this is the whole idea of Chassidus too. The whole idea of Chassidus started with the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Chassidus. With the Baal Shem Tov himself, we see the same idea. The Baal Shem Tov came in the most harsh time when it was for Am Yisrael, a very down time, as we know the history of those years. And but the Baal Shem Tov came in that moment and turned everything around to bring the glory of Chassidus, the glory of redemption. As we know, Chassidus brings our redemption. And this is, the Rebbe pointed out once, this is that says about the Baal Shem Tov, that he would sign Yisrael Me'akup. Akup means trenches. The Baal Shem Tov was born by his parents. They were so poor they didn't have a house. They lived in trenches in time of war. That's where they lived. Really below poverty, really below everything. Representing, he came from a being of real Mitzrayim, real trenches, a place that you don't really live there, unless you can't. Poor. Lachma Anya. But what did the Baal Shem Tov represent? He came from there, but he grew up and turned around the world to be a world of redemption, a world of Chassidus, a world that we see Hashem with us, and a world that this will bring us to Mashiach. As the Baal Shem Tov said, when the offspring of Chassidus will spread, this is Mashiach. Who's begun all this? The Baal Shem Tov. But where did he begin? In the trenches. And this is the whole idea of Pesach, and that's the idea of Yachatz. Don't get disillusioned. Yes, there's one part of the matzah that's called Olach Ma'anya. That's one half of the matzah, but that's a small half. But we also have to know that in the same time there's the other half, and that's Afikoimon matzah, the matzah of redemption, the matzah of Mashiach, the matzah of the Korban Pesach. Let's have this thought to us. Let's think about the Seder, and it will be Mitzvah Shem, a happy Pesach, that we're really going to celebrate Afikoim, and really celebrate the Korban Pesach, or really celebrate the redemption with Mashiach Tzidkenu this Pesach. Have yourself all a beautiful Chag Kosher v'Sameach.